All right, perfect. So thanks again for being here today. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves first, and talk a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Hannah. I'm 22 years old and I will be starting school next week. I'll be studying film because that's one of my passions. I've been living with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy for the past 7 years. I have an implantable defibrillator and yeah, I'm 8 of 9 children.
Wow, 8 of 9 children. That's a fun fact. Oh my gosh. All right, what about you, Bethany?
So I'm Bethany. I'm going to be graduating this year with my degree in dance, actually. I've been diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy as well for 7 years. We got diagnosed right around the same time. And we both have implantable defibrillators, and we've created HeartCharged as a kind of way to help bring awareness to what we have, as well as that there are as well as awareness to sudden cardiac arrest and the lives that are taken that could be prevented if that we were just smart about it and took the right precautions and such. Okay. So, and then we also help with the patient support since we're patients ourselves. So we really want to help know that there's people out there that are dealing with the same things they are.
Okay, perfect. So we'll get to HeartCharged in just a second. First of all, I want to back up a little bit. Let's hear your kind of stories about how you got diagnosed. Again, Hannah, if you want to go first, you know, where were you when you figured this out?
Yeah, so we were down in Miami, which is where we were born and raised, and it was 2013. So I was heading into my freshman year of high school. And earlier that year, so I was playing actually on 2 basketball teams. I was dancing at a studio, I was dancing outside, I was dancing at school, and our aunt finds out that she has hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And of course, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is genetic. So she told my mom as soon as she found out and had us checked. And my mom had the promise to, out of all her 9 children, have me get checked first. And so I still remember that appointment like it was yesterday, and I have it like saved in my calendar of when it was. It was September 13th. And just leading up to it, I kind of felt like even when I would like pray and be like, okay, I hope I don't have it, like it just never felt right. Like I just knew deep down that there was something wrong. And so I went in for the appointment. It actually took like 6 months to get it because it's a pediatric cardiologist and we didn't have any symptoms. So of course they're not going to be like, oh yeah, let us get you in right away. They're like, well, okay, whenever we can, this is the soonest date we have available. And so I go in and then I'm told that I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy and I have a severe case. And due to that, I have to stop playing sports and do any strenuous activities. And so it's pretty much a life-changing event. And it kind of, you know, flipped my world upside down and kind of altered the way I was going to end up going for my future.
Absolutely. So before I let you go, Bethany, sorry, I just have a little follow-up question real quick. So Hannah, I mean, you know, how old were you again when this happened?
So I was 14, about to turn 15.
Yeah. Okay, so you were right in the peak age of like being in the middle of sports, loving life, not really a lot of responsibilities. And then this happened. What was it like to hear that news that you could not play sports again?
It was heartbreaking because I had dreams like any teenage kid about like what I would do with my future. But it's kind of interesting because I had stopped dancing before that because I kind of knew I didn't want to pursue that. So I knew, because high school is such a peak time to really like get into what you want to do as a career. And I was like, I'm not going to dance professionally, so I'm going to quit that. But basketball was kind of in the back of my mind, like, no, maybe I'll do basketball again for the YMCA. And I hadn't really made any choices. And that ended up working perfectly because then I got diagnosed with this, and it would have been way more heartbreaking if I was on a team or if I was going to a school for dance or anything like that, because that would have been terrible because everything would have just like flipped. And it's just the beginning of my freshman year, you know, when you're trying to figure out your life. And high school. And, you know, now I'm figuring out myself, oh, wait, now I have a heart condition, and somehow I've had it my whole life, but I've only known now. So yeah, it was definitely heartbreaking. There was a lot of tears in that doctor's office and after, but I'm so grateful that I have it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at least you know. I mean, it would have been, I'm sure, a lot worse to be playing and not have known, because then it could have led to something probably a lot more scary. So Bethany, okay, why don't we have you go ahead and tell your story now?
Okay, so right after Hannah got diagnosed, of course, as Hannah said, there's 9 of us kids in the family. So my mom immediately called back and was like, well, so now it's a genetic condition, so I need doctor's appointments for all the other kids. And they were like, well, we don't have for a long time. And then she's like, no, no, no. One of them just got diagnosed. I need to like some other appointments. So she did what moms do best, and we got an appointment about a week later. And I had decided at that time that I was a senior in high school and a dancer as well. And I got in to dance with Miami City Ballet's pre-professional program. So I decided to drop out of school and be dancing 6 days a week full time. So that meant school had to be online virtually, like at nighttime. So I'm like ready to do this. I'm 1 week into the program. I go to this doctor's appointment and I find out that I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and immediately just tears and just like I'm just thinking back to it now. It was just like super like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm good at. I'm going to have to give it up. It was a crazy, crazy feeling. And they were like, okay, well, we're going to immediately put you on medication. And then I went to all my dance classes with like heart halters on, and like, just imagine like a young girl with a leotard on, like with this big device, like bulging out of her chest. And everybody's like, what is that? And you're like, oh my gosh, it's nothing. But like, no, everybody knew something was going on. And so they did it to kind of check my heart as I was doing physical activity, because HCM can present itself differently in everybody, and it's presented differently in me and Hannah. So I am allowed to keep dancing, just with precautions and them watching and making sure everything's going well. So I am able to still dancing. I'm still dancing today, but it always like lingers on the back of my mind. Like one day I might have to just give this up for good.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, again, like, I'm glad you guys both found out before something, you know, detrimental happened or crazy. But you guys have obviously made something positive out of this. Let's talk about HeartCharged now. Whoever wants to, I mean, is more vocal about it and wants to talk about it. Talk to me about how you guys came up with this idea.
I'll start. So we have been like advocating for years for like heart screenings and we absolutely admire what Who We Play For does. You guys are doing incredible work, and we want to bring it down to Miami. And so we have been doing this, but I think recently we decided to really use the power of social media and really bring to light what it is like living with a diagnosis and living, we call it bionic, with a defibrillator. So that's our whole thing that we've created HeartCharged, is just to show everybody out there that's going through the same thing that like, we get it and we're there for you and we'll hold your hand every step of the way. And our huge thing is creating that patient-to-patient support and just knowing that there's a group of these people that understand you and get you.
Absolutely. Hannah, what did you think about starting this whole thing?
Yeah, so she said we really, obviously doing research, you find out that HCM is the #1 cause for students dropping dead in the field. And so as athletic people, that's kind of frightening to know. And even my doctor said, oh, did I put on a good poker face that you didn't drop dead as you were playing these sports because you had a severe case? And so we're very grateful that you're here today. And so then, of course, realizing that, we knew that we needed to share our story. And so I went around in my classrooms, around in my community, just telling people and letting them know, like, hey, and there's a simple heart screening to detect this. And it was always like the important factors, like, hey, and if you get diagnosed and you're like me, we're here for you. And so that support really went it. And I think obviously as me and Bethany got older, and we got our defibrillators and we got our scars, as being young women also, dancers, you look a lot at your body and your image. And you're a young adult too, right? You should be having fun and stuff. So living with the diagnosis is kind of hard, and people don't realize, especially when you look young and healthy. So they might say like offhanded comments because they don't really know what's going on inside of you, that you got a really thick heart and that messes some things up for you. So we, Bethany came to me with the idea that maybe we should go on social media and really make one account for it, because of course we share it on our personal private accounts, but that's only getting to our friends. But what if we reach farther and really got people, because this is something that affects all type of people. It's not just for women, not just for men, all races, like anything. It attacks anyone. It doesn't care who you are. And so we decided to make that effort, and then we began this January to really push it and to build that community of allies and heart patients.
Okay, so you guys just started this in January. Okay, so you guys you're still relatively new. You're seeing how hard it is to get something started, aren't you? So it's definitely a difficult process. And Bethany, you kind of touched on, you'd hope to get heart screenings down to the Miami area. What are some of the big other goals that you guys have to try to get done soon?
So a huge thing is just, again, creating that like a huge community of patients and being able to like welcome them into the community. So right now we're working on trying to create some type of like care package or welcome package and connect with hospitals, or like what you guys do. You guys connect with your patients and you find out through your screenings, and being able to connect with these people and like give them something and just let them know, hey, we're here for you. You can call us, you can talk to us, text us, email us, whatever, we're here for you. So that's our big thing, is trying to create some way to like find all of these people and welcome them in and know that we're going to be here for them.
Just realized I'm still on mute.
Okay,
here we go.
I was gonna say,
I'm just a crazy person who just talks to myself.
Just me?
So anyways, but it sounds like what you guys are doing is so great. Obviously we're excited to be working with you guys, help you guys move forward. And I think we've always been trying to get down into the Miami area too. So that'll be great. So our last question that we like to ask everybody who comes on here is, obviously the name of our organization is Who We Play For. We do it, they named it because of Rafe, and that is why we keep going. It's why you keep doing what you're doing and things like that. So we always like to ask people, who do you play for? Why are you doing, or who are you doing this for, I guess? So whoever wants to
we love that question. We love the name for it, because of course we all want to save lives, and we're all driven by that. And as being a patient, I want to say we play for our lives, because we feel very privileged that we are able to stand here today, because at a simple heart screening, and luckily our implanted defibrillators have saved our lives. And so being able to know that, you got to make the most of your life, and you got to give back too. And so the fact that my life was saved, because actually my defibrillator shocked me and saved me from a sudden cardiac arrest event, I know that I'm going to give back as much as I can. I'm going to, help other people, help other patients, or help people who have lost someone, and make sure that we fight for that effort to stop preventable deaths in young athletes and young people overall. Okay,
great answer. I love that. All right, Bethany, you have to try to top that now.
Well, of course, building on that, but of course, I play for the lives that have gone before us that, didn't know, and how, like, it saddens my heart, and like I read the stories and I break down in tears. So I play for all of those people, and I play for all the people in the future that might be diagnosed, to let them know that it's okay, and that if they do get this diagnosis, that we're going to be right there with them. And we play for all those people as well.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys again for doing this today.